More than a year after NewJeans' relationship with ADOR collapsed in public, we are finally heading into a week that could decide everything. October 30th, 2025. That's the date multiple reports point to for the court's decision following two failed mediations between the members and the agency. Today, we're mapping the road that got us here, what the injunction already does to the group, where each member is now, and the three most likely outcomes fans are debating online. Then I'll ask you a simple question. What do you think is going to happen on verdict day? Let's rewind quickly. Through early 2025, NewJeans and ADOR were already fighting in court. On March 21st, 2025, a Seoul Central District Court injunction restricted the members from carrying out independent activities away from ADOR while the larger dispute moved forward. International outlets framed it plainly. The group cannot leave ADOR or act as NJZ while litigation is unresolved. That's the legal ceiling that's been sitting over everything since spring. Fast forward to summer. On August 14th, a court-ordered mediation failed. A second mediation on September 11th also failed. It reportedly ended in minutes. After that, we shifted from negotiation to decision. Local coverage and fandom trackers aligned on October 30th as the ruling date. Translation: if talks are done, the court speaks. Then, on October 25th, a new twist. Reports that former ADOR CEO Min Hee-jin is launching a new label. A rumor that electrified timelines, because if the court loosens any part of the restraint, the what next could become very real, very fast. For now, it's reporting, not an official announcement, but fans are already connecting dots. A lot of people still ask, if they can't promote, what can they do? Here's the simple version. The injunction keeps ADOR as the exclusive representative for NewJeans activities until the court says otherwise. The members can't legally proceed as NJZ or under a new representative for commercial activities. Personal, non-commercial appearances aren't the same as contracted performances, but brands and broadcasters tend to avoid gray zones while a ruling is pending. That's why the calendar looks empty. Not because the members have nothing to say, but because the safest move is to wait 6 more days for a clear, formal decision. Min Hee. After appearing for mediation in August, Min Hee has kept a low public profile. Fans track her through brief sightings and the occasional social ripple, but there's been no sanctioned music schedule since the injunction. On X, one of the top-liked comments this week reads, "When Min Hee steps on stage again, it better be on her terms." That line captures the mood: tired, protective, still loyal. Danielle, also present for the August session. Danielle's name trends every time a variety segment resurfaces. The "she belongs on TV Weekly" argument never really died. But legally, it's the same wall for her as for everyone. No independent activities. A fan post that went viral said, "We've been gaslit into thinking hiatus equals disappearance." It doesn't. It means she's preserving herself for the right return. Hani, the member whose past statements about workplace harassment were cited widely during the initial conflict, continues to be the lightning rod. Threads about what happens to Hani's brand deals keep bubbling up, and every rumor gets amplified. As a reminder, brands typically follow the court. They don't move first during litigation. HYBE. Because of age, HYBE often gets framed in protective terms by fans. One thread this week said it best. If nothing else comes from this year, let HYBE get a clean slate. Regardless of verdict, you'll keep seeing welfare. First posts attached to her name. Scenario A, status quo extended. Injunction stands. The court upholds the existing restraints pending the main suit. Practically, this means no NJZ, no third-party promotions, and ADOR remains the gatekeeper. Fans brace for months more of limbo unless the parties settle. This is the most conservative legal path, and, frankly, the one that generates the least movement in Q4. Scenario B, partial relief plus monitored restructuring. The court allows limited activities under specific conditions, e.g., third-party supervision, escrow of earnings, timetable for good faith negotiations. This would be the breathing room outcome. Not a clean break, but enough to let members appear without violating exclusivity. It's complicated, but KN courts have crafted workable middle grounds before. Scenario C, members granted exit/contract voidability path. The court recognizes grounds that open a path to terminate or reframe the contract. That doesn't auto-return the group to Min Hee-jin, but it loosens the strictures and could accelerate any post-ruling moves, like joining a new label if reports materialize. This is the most dramatic outcome and would reshape Q4 headlines overnight. Which is likeliest? Legal analysts won't say on the record, but the two failed mediations suggest the gap between sides is still wide. That often nudges courts toward either A, freeze, or a tightly drafted B, partial relief. We'll know soon. One reason this verdict week feels heavier than a normal label artist fight, HYBE itself is under intense scrutiny. On October 1st, Korean media reported Bang Si-hyuk was barred from leaving the country amid the ongoing IPO investigation. On October 22nd, press updates said police were reviewing an arrest warrant request. None of this is a verdict. It's procedure. But it shapes optics around every HYBE-adjacent story, including NewJeans. If the company is fighting a separate battle on the finance side, the just settle it quietly route becomes harder to sell to the public. For viewers asking if NewJeans is over, the honest answer today is no. They're on hold. The injunction says don't move. The failed mediations say we tried and couldn't bridge it. The October 30th date says we're about to get an answer on what happens next. Between now and then, the best indicator isn't a rumor or a blurry airport photo. It's the court calendar. If a surprise settlement appears, it will show up as a filing before it shows up in a fan cam. If no filing appears, October 30th becomes the main show. If Min does launch a label, reported October 25th, that doesn't magically teleport NewJeans there on October 31st. Contracts, damages, transition clauses, and appeals still exist. What it would do is create a credible landing zone if the court opens any legal path for movement, Scenario C, or a flexible version of B. That's why the rumor hits so hard. It turns what if into a where. Even with a favorable decision, TV and brand schedules don't snap back instantly. Music shows book weeks out, brand teams need legal sign-off. International events require visas, rehearsals, and insurance. The fastest comeback path would be digital first, a special stage, a live performance video, or a streaming-only single, domestic stages, select brand activations, proper comeback window. That's if the red tape lifts. If not, fans should prepare for more quiet and more legal updates before any stage lights turn on. There's a sentence from spring coverage that I keep thinking about. This is one of the most high-profile labor disputes in Kpop in years. No matter what you think about the filings, the metaphors, or the PR, NewJeans forced a conversation about artist agency that doesn't fit neatly into Stan Wars. On October 30th, a court will write one chapter of that story. The rest, how the industry changes, how contracts are written, how idols are protected, will be written by everyone else. What do you think happens on October 30th? A, B, or C? If the court grants partial relief, what's the first thing you want to see from the members? And if nothing changes, how should fans support without feeding more rumor cycles? Drop your take below, keep it respectful, and I'll pin the most thoughtful comment for our verdict day follow-up.